Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. So I've been getting a lot of questions via email and messenger wanting to know how the water tower was coming. There are the blueprints for the water tower. There are the blueprints for the water tower. There's a bunch of pages of them. They include cut sheets, drawings, dimensions, angles. They are signed, sealed, and stamped. We are ready to start work. We have a lot of the materials already purchased, but there's been some other things that have held us up. Now, like I've talked about in some previous videos, there's a ton of infrastructure you never think about that has to happen here. And some of the infrastructure is specific for this project, and some of it is some stuff that needed to be upgraded and repaired otherwise. There's about 6,800 feet of pipe that we trenched in when we started this project. That's a huge amount of pipe. But I mean, I'm paying a guy with a trenching machine to be here. Why wouldn't I just go ahead and get all the pipe that needs to be put in, or the majority of it put in, while he's here? Our swimming pool, there were some problems that needed to get taken care of. Some of them were cosmetic, some of them were structural. And so essentially, since we were already trenching and we were going to have to tear up part of the deck to make some of the repairs, my wife and I made the decision that while we're here and we're doing this, I mean, you know, take a look around you, right? Like the whole place is a wreck. While everything's a wreck, we might as well go ahead and bite the bullet and get this done. Here's the point of this video. We decided that we were going to put pavers down on our pool. If you've never bought pavers before, listen carefully. And before you buy pavers, listen especially carefully. The way it works with pavers is you typically get an installer out to give you a quote. I'm very blessed to have an incredible individual, an artisan, a craftsman, a guy who takes pride in his work, a guy who is honest and just really just tries to do the right thing. Because this would have turned out a whole lot different if I had not had Gene from Magnata Empire as my installer. You guys talk about the price, then you move forward and you have to go to a showroom. When you go to the showroom, right, you pick out the different styles and colors, and my wife's a designer. I don't even pretend to touch that. I come up with the big ideas like fire pit here, she picks the color. Eventually we got samples. They wrote on the back of the samples with a magic marker what they were. We took the samples, came here, she made her decisions. Pavers were ordered, a lot of pavers. Probably more than 3 semi-loads of pavers. When the pavers arrive, my wife looks out at them, still all palleted up. She goes, that's not what I ordered. That's not the color nor the style. So there's many discussions back and forth over the next day or so. The paver company's stance is, you're not our customer. Our customer is your installer, deal with him. So being the good dude that he is, he goes into negotiations to get the color and style made correctly. Now keep in mind the lead time on pavers is between 4 and 6 weeks. So we've already waited 4 to 6 weeks. Already the deconstruction has already happened. We're waiting for the product to show up. The product shows up, it's wrong. They say it'll be an additional 6 week plus a 30% restocking fee plus transportation to and from for the new material and to bring the old material back. But it wasn't our fault. The samples you gave me with your writing on the back of them don't match what we got. Well, we'll just call that a miscommunication. A miscommunication. Okay, we'll go with that. The installer eats the cost of the changing the color. He eats the cost of the restocking fee. He moves forward to try to just make this project happen. It's the kind of guy he is. We wait an additional 4 to 6 weeks, and pallets looking just like those over there, they all show up. We get about half of the pavers down, and my wife and I walk out there. My wife goes, oh, that paver's bad. So we kind of clean the dust off it, and oh, that one's bad, and that one's bad, and that one's bad, and that one's broken, and that one's crumbling, and we start going around and around and around. The company sends out their plant manager. Very nice person, probably the only person in the company that I can say gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling. He said, I just want to let you know I've already looked it up your run. I know who manufactured it. I know what day it manufactured, and I want you to know I was not on duty that day. It was my day off at the plant. However, I am the plant manager. It is my responsibility. It is my crew, my people that I trained. I'm responsible for it. Let's go take a look at your product. No matter what it is, I'll make it right. Okay, so that's a good feeling, right? A guy owns his mistakes, if there are any. We come back here within a minute and a half of him looking at it, and he goes, don't need to see anymore, total bad batch. I know exactly what caused this problem. He took a couple of pictures, took a couple of defective pavers with him back, and he said, okay, so definitely a problem. We'll be back. We'll be in touch with you in the next couple of days. So let's fast forward 3 or 4 days. I got a phone call from the installer saying the COO of the company wants to come to your house today. I said, today's not a good day. The kids got karate. I'm working. Can't be there. So several phone calls and text messages later, which said, I'm on my way. I'll be there by 3, no matter what. I don't want somebody coming to my house that I don't know, looking all over my, I mean, it's just, I'm not okay with that. So I managed to get a couple hours off work. I came home. Wife missed the first half of the karate tournament the words I would use to describe this person are just flat out rude. I mean, that's probably the best way to put it. COO of the company, he walked around and said, I don't understand what you're upset about. Now, the pavers were crumbling. A lot of them were broken, the edges were broken off them, and they had a visual defect in them that's just, it's not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. So much so that the plant manager saw it the second he walked here. He said, after some discussion, he goes, I don't really know what you're upset about, but if you'd like, we'll basically replace the pavers. Yeah, I want you to replace the pavers. They did remake the order in a very quick fashion, thanks a lot to the plant manager, who immediately had recognized that there was a problem. They delivered the first load of these pavers, the replacement pavers. Once again, the installer stepped up, ate the cost, hired the guys. First order of new pavers shows up. Paver company guy says, we need some paperwork signed, and we need your installer to sign it, or we're not delivering anymore. Now, keep it in mind, the paver installer, his native language is Portuguese. Speaks fluent, very good English, but he says, would you mind reading this for me and tell me, does it say what I think it says? And so I read it, and essentially it says, you waive all rights to anything for the rest of your life, forever, amen. And I said, dude, don't sign that. It basically says that if these pavers turn purple, green, blue, bust in half, or launch themselves to the moon, you're responsible for it. They're not doing another damn thing. So fast forward another couple of weeks, discussions back and forth. Now we can't get anywhere with them. They're digging their heels in. We hire an attorney. Of course, you know, lawyers are cheap, right? Now, the reason I tell you guys this is if you're going out to buy pavers, there's a company that, in my opinion, you should never, ever, ever use, ever, and that's US Paverscapes. US Paverscapes, to me, did not even care about me as a customer because, I mean, this is my home and this is their product, which I'm going to walk on for the next, hopefully, 25 years. But there are a lot of good, reputable companies out there. One thing to make sure of is read the warranty on your pavers. Also, your installer, read what he's willing to cover cost-wise should something bad happen, because a lot of these paver companies, the way they separate themselves from having to ever do anything that's right is to tell you you're not the customer and they didn't sell them to you, so they don't have to warrant them to you. Say, what? They're still on a pallet in my yard. Again, it's a whole lot of legal talk back and forth, but make sure if you're getting pavers put down, you make sure your installer has insurance. Ask to see it. I did. Make sure your installer offers a warranty for his labor. Mine did, in writing. Also, make sure that your installer has a good reputation. Mine has an excellent reputation. He's got a whole Instagram following of jobs that he's done, plus done some jobs for personal friends. So I felt very good about using Magnata Empire to do my work, and I'm so happy I got Gene as my installer. All right, everybody, here's a quick parting shot at the final project. It came out pretty doggone good, and that's thanks mostly to Gene and Magnata Empire. Gene did a great job on all of the cope work, all the paver work, grade work, everything came out just like I wanted it to. Now, keep in mind that this project should have taken about 2 months. and it wound up taking almost a year. I'm gonna blame most of those delays on US Paverscapes, the poor quality materials they sent me the first 2 times, and honestly, their general disregard for me as the customer. I paid money for first-rate materials. I should not have had to hire an attorney to get those first-rate materials. Everybody, I hope you learned something from this video. I'm trying to share my experiences with you. Stay tuned to the channel. We got some aluminum projects coming up here on the pool deck. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you real soon.